So now drag this variable to here, or you can do var dot and then do a control tab. You do a control tab, you will find the list of variables. Now that we have only one variable, so I'm able to see only one var here. Okay, go ahead and do this. All right. So now this variable, whatever the temporary variable that we're creating here, is mapped to the employee name with our expression. That is the joining of the employee first name and last name that we are getting as input, and we have joined that with a space, and that is written to our name as temporary variable, and that is being passed to our output employee name. I think the sequence is pretty clear. Let's go ahead and run this and see, then you would understand how can we merge this and what is that we are trying to achieve using this transformation. So we have done with our first transformation, that is merging the two columns from the input and writing that to the output. Now let's come to band. So we also want to do another transformation on grouping the data or grouping the employees according to their experience and assigning a new column band. Okay, let me create another variable here. Let's call this as band, and which is also a string. Come back to the expression builder by clicking on the ellipse or the three dots that we have here, and let's give the condition. So what's the condition here? First, we want to check if the experience of the employee is between 1 and 6. That is, it's greater than 1 and is less than 6. If it is less than or equal to 6, then we would say they fall under band A. And band B is the second category where the experience ranges from 7 to 10, inclusive of 7 and 10. And the third category is where we have the experience greater than 10 years. That is starting from 11 years, whatsoever is the experience years, we want them to group to band C. If you remember, using our Talend row generator, we gave the maximum value for experience as 15. So all the employee IDs with experience from 11 and 15 would fall in band C. Okay, how do we mention that? So first we want to do a check on the employee experience. So this is what is the employee experience? Nothing but row1 dot employee underscore exp. So this automatically gives that proposals, what are like, expected values that can come here. You can either continue typing if you know the column name, or you can simply select it from here. So now row1 dot employee experience, and I want to check if this is greater than or equal to 1 and is less than or equal to 6. So less than or equal to 6. And we also want to pass a AND operator. So you have an AND operator here. So here you could see all the mathematical operations or the relation operations that you have. So go ahead and click on AND. That's nothing but a double ampersand symbol. So what is the other condition? That should be greater than or equal to 1. So row1 dot employee underscore experience. Again, what is this? This is greater than or equal to 1. So this is check. So now how do we pass the if condition? Ideally, my condition is if this is matching, then give the band as band A. And again, if this is not matching, check for the band B criteria and give the band as band B. Else, check for the band C criteria and give it as band C. So how do we specify if and else? If is always specified using a question mark operator. So I give a question mark here. This implies, what does this implies is, do this check. If this check is true, then do whatever I mentioned followed by the question mark. Okay, if not, how do we do if not or else? That is using a colon. So if this condition is true, do whatever I mentioned after the question mark. So what do I want to do this here? I want to give the value as band A, right? So it's again a string. So I want to enclose it between a double quote. So this is band A. I still have few other categories left. So in order to do that, else check, I would follow it up with a colon. So colon. Now do this for else. So what do we want to do? We again want to check row1 dot employee underscore experience. Now what's the criteria? It must be less than or equal to 10 and must be greater than 6. So the one dot employee experience, what is this? It should be greater than or equal to 7. Then what do I do? Question mark, give it as band B. So now I still have third category left. So what do I do now? Give a colon again. And for all of that, so here I don't want to check any condition. I want to give this by default as band C. All right. So I think it's clear, right? Let me explain this once again. So this is your condition check. Question mark will represent an if condition. And if this is condition is met, then give the value as band B. Else, go for the next condition. Or else, because I want to do a next condition check, I have mentioned this condition in the else part of it. Else is represented using a colon. So else, what do? Do a band B. So then we still have a else condition. Then go ahead and do a band C. So if this condition is also failed, that's the third condition that is left. So that's nothing but band C. Click on OK. And I would drag and drop this to my band. So now we are done with 2 transformations. So the third one is to just have a default value. How can I do that? Go ahead and simply pass the value here in the expression builder or here in the expression for this employee country. So all of this is set now. Let's go ahead and run this and see. Okay. So we have the ID mapped, name transformed variable is mapped, employee experience is a direct one-to-one mapping that is mapped, and then we have the band that is mapped, and we have the employee state that is a one-to-one transformation that is mapped, and it's a country. Country is a default value that we are passing to this. Let's go ahead and run this and see how can we get the output. All right. So let's run this job. Yes, there we have the output. Let me do something. Let me give this as a table format so that we have a clear visibility. There we have the updated or the transformed data. As we see, we have the employee IDs, whatever we have in the input, we have it in the output. And we have the employee names concatenated with a space in between. This is the first name and this is the last name and this is the space that we have given. And we have the employee experience that it is there and the band to which they belong, the classification band A, band B and band C and the employee state, and we have the country USA by default populated for all the 10 records. I think you're clear with this 3 transformations that we did with TMap. TMap is a powerful component. We can also do many other transformations. So we have seen how can we add a column here. So this is the column that we did. And we can also remove a column. So in case we have too many columns in the input and we only want to extract or we only want to write few of the input columns to the output columns, all you have to do is only select that column and do a one-to-one mapping. And you can also do filtering and you can also split the outputs into multiple outputs. So here we only have one output and that we gave to tlogRow. We can also split it to the multiple outputs and we'll see that in our next session. So yeah, this is how the various transformations that can be done using TMap, and this is one of the powerful component that Talend is offering. So please go ahead, try your hands-on with TMap and you can explore and play around a lot with this component. Okay, and this will help you very much when you're working on real-time data.